Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works Man Cave. It's Wednesday, February 4th, and there's a lot going on in the news if you've been paying attention. I'm going to just cover a point or two of that here in a minute. But first, did you see Itchy Boots' new video that came out today? Wow. It's amazing where she goes, and she got way more guts than I'll ever have. But did you notice that the weird, I don't know, the way they treat motorcycles when they go to a gas station? They won't let them ride up to a pump, and she's had other troubles with gas stations and her motorcycle, like they have to fill it with a bottle rather than take it up to the pump. I mean, what's with a motorcycle? Why would a motorcycle be different than a car as far as going up to a gas pump? It's really weird how they've treated her several times now getting gas at a gas station with her motorcycle. And on the one today, the guy says, no, push it. You have to push it up to the I don't know. It just seems really strange. And then she ended the video with eating pig's feet. And did you notice the green corridor, which I thought was really awesome, actually. The green corridor along the highway that was going through a giant desert. I mean, it's just giant desert. And it's, you know, hundreds of kilometers, and they've got green on both sides of the highway, or both sides of the blacktop road. And the way they do that is they put pump stations in every so often and then irrigate the weeds along there to get, weeds and brush and stuff to grow so that the sand doesn't cover over the highway. I thought that was genius. It really looked like it was working pretty well, too. That's pretty cool. But, yeah, I don't know. You get to thinking that some countries are backwards or something, but what you see in places like China are pretty advanced, really. Pretty crazy. And they haven't made much progress on poor old Nancy Guthrie, have they? I know they've, since she's been gone, they've, gotten a ransom note, and they've had suspicions that it might be connected to her son-in-law, which I would really hate. I hope that's not the case. I hope it's not her son-in-law. That's horrible. But anyway, they haven't made a lot of progress, at least that they're, telling the public. And then what do you think about the Iran and the Cuban situation? Just right on that teetering edge. I'm pretty sure there's going to be shots fired with the Iran deal. I'm just pretty positive that's going to happen. But now on a good note, and this is really good, and you're going to want to check it out, and that is American Idol just auditioned Hannah Harper. And Hannah Harper is a friend of she's the daughter of a friend, I should say it that way. Galen Harper, I've known him for years. I don't know him super well. Met him quite a few times at bluegrass events and things. In fact, my band filled in for his band last year at the Macedonia Church. The Harpers couldn't make it to a performance or whatever, and so they called our band, and we filled in for the Harpers. So I've known Galen forever, but his daughter Hannah just auditioned, and you could tell the judges were impressed. They were impressed. And I put a link to that audition in the description, and I would recommend you check it out. I've known Galen since he was a pretty young kid picking banjo. I was a little older than Galen, and I don't know. I'm not sure how old Galen is. I'm going to guess him at about 50 now, maybe older than that. But anyway, his daughter's about 20-something, and she wrote her own song, and she made her own dress, and the dress was made out of rags. It's just kind of like Dolly Parton, coat of many colors. Well, that's the way she made her own dress for the audition. And everybody just fell in love with her. They were saying she's like another Dolly Parton, and they were, Alison Krauss. And her voice is killer good, and the song she wrote that she sang is really good. You're going to want to check it out. It'll almost bring a tear to your eye, I think. And then back to the other kind of news, and take a look at this.
I'm not sure if that was recording or not, but I just put 5 baits on this deal here. These baits have a hole in them, and you slide them on this rod, then you thread the cap back on there, or the wing nut, and then you put them in here, and then you can look in there and see this, and this is a rat bait station. And anyway, the point is the rats go in there and they eat the bait, and then another one drops down, and so you never run out of bait that way, or at least it takes quite a while. If you don't put them in a bait station, you got several problems. Number one, the rats will carry them off and just put them in a cache, and they never eat them. They just store them, and therefore you're wasting bait. And trust me, I know they do that because I found quite a few caches where these things are just stacked in there. So that's the first problem. The second problem is you stand to poison a cat or a dog if they get a hold of this bait and eat it. Now, I know some of you are going to say, well, yeah, but if they eat a poisoned rat, that'll kill them too. But they claim that the secondary poisoning with this bait is not a problem. Now, that's the claim. I don't know everything. I'm just going by what they say. So anyway, it does seem to work. We have to keep these things baited here. If we don't, we have thousands upon thousands of dollars of damage every year from rats chewing up wires and hoses, and you name it, they just chew up everything. It's just horrible. And they'll chew the lining out of your headliners and your cars and trucks and vehicles like my Bobcat. They just make a giant mess out of everything. So you just have to do this as self-defense when you live on a farm, because there are gazillions of rats out in the fields and things, and they will migrate into the barns over time. And so you just have to be vigilant all the time. I know some people just think it's horrible to kill something, but those same people would think that they need to kill every rat on the planet if they had thousands and thousands of dollars worth of damage in their car. And that's what happens here. And case in point is I had to rewire Emery's car from scratch. Just the wiring harness on it alone cost over $1,200. Just the wiring harness. Now think of what the labor would be on that to pull that out and put it back in. So that's just not, it's just crazy. So you kill the rats. That's what you do. You get rid of the rats. And you just have to stay vigilant. And we don't really have a major rat problem here on the farm because we use these things. But when you're not using these things, everything gets chewed up.
And there's no exaggeration there. I mean, everything gets chewed up. They'll chew holes through your boards in your barns, and it's just amazing how much damage rats can do, and do it very quickly if you don't stay on them. When we first bought this place, it was overrun with both rats and copperheads. And the copperhead snakes were everywhere. And I mean like everywhere. You couldn't hardly turn over a board without finding a copperhead snake, And, of course, the rats and the mice were running rampant, too, because Bob had it just piled full of trash everywhere. Like I told you, and I've told many of you many times, you've heard me say, it took me 3 years, every single weekend, coming down here, using my Bobcat, pushing trash in piles to clean it all up. It took 3 years. And that was pretty much every weekend. That's all I did for like 3 years. And it just, it was trash beyond belief, and that's why the rats were so bad. And now we've got it under control, but the rats will still come in from the fields because there are just millions of them. They're just everywhere out in the fields. You wouldn't think there'd be that many rats out there, but whenever you're baling hay or cutting hay or anything like that, you'll see them running out across the ground and run into a hole, and especially when you're cutting hay. And here's the other thing I did this morning. Take a look at this.
The other day on my vlog, I mentioned that this thing is slipping somewhere. I thought maybe it was the rear end or the front end, on the four-wheel drive stuff. but somebody said it might be your clutches, that they had experience with it being their secondary clutch. Well, that really makes all kinds of sense. This thing's pretty old and the clutches could easily be wore out. I've had this off many times and looked at the clutches more than once, but never really inspected them to see if they're really worn or anything. I put new belts on, things like that. So today, that's going to be our mission, is just do an exploratory. We're going to take this cover off. This cover right here is huge, and it's got a ton of bolts in it. It's got way too many bolts in it, but because it's plastic, I'm sure that's why they had to put so many bolts in the darn thing. So anyway, I'm going to get that off, and I'll show you what it looks like under there in a minute. Well, we got the cover off. It's not the easiest thing to do, but not the hardest. Got that off, and I'm noticing some play in this. I don't think there should be any play in it, honestly, but I don't know that for sure. And I've still got the belt on it, so I don't think you can really check it very well with the belt on there. So I'll have to try to get the belt off. Now, I've never had to take the belt off before because I've always replaced the belt after it broke. So once it breaks, obviously it's off already. So I've never had to take it off. But I figure I can probably get it off. So let's see if that's the case. I don't know anything about trying this. Haven't looked up any videos or anything to see what the prescribed method is. But I've taken belts off of lots of other things in my life, just not off of this. So my first attempt will be to see if we can pry it. But I can't reach it, it's the problem. I'm on the outside of the machine reaching in here, and it's about an arm's length away. And then if I could somehow spin it while I'm pulling this over, I think it would come off, but hands are cold and I don't know if I can do that. Let me see if I can. I don't know if I can do it by hand without getting my finger pinched. Well, there may not be room for you guys and me and everybody in there, but I'll figure out a way to get that off. Well, that was not easy, but fortunately I've still got fairly strong hands, and I walked this big thick thing off of there. I had it in neutral, of course, and was able to spin it, and once I got it riding up on the edge here, then I just grabbed a hold of it, pulled it off the rest of the way, and then it was loose. It was a struggle, ain't gonna lie, but I got it. Now, let's see, can we tell if anything is exceptionally loose? It doesn't feel as loose now as it did. Yeah, I don't think there's supposed to be any play in this. I really don't know. It's hard to tell. Wow, it's really tight. I guess I'm turning the engine over. I know things in here wear out, you know, these bushings and things, but I don't see anything excessive just by looking at it, you know. But I bet you that play is not supposed, I bet that's not supposed to be there. This is as tight as it goes, I think. Let me see if I can put a wrench on that and see if that gets any tighter right here on this bolt. I don't know what size it is, but I'm guessing 15. Nope. 16. Yep. All right, so tightening it would go this way, but I don't know if I can do any more to that or not. Let's see here. How can I hold this? There ain't no simple way to do anything here because you can't reach it. You guys can't tell what I'm struggling with, but the truth is I just can't get in here. Nope, it's tight. Ugh. I've really putting the torque on it there, and it's tight. So it's not that. It's not loose, but it wiggles right here. You can see it go in and out right there, and I can see these things wiggling a little bit. This secondary clutch, I don't know how you tell if there's any play in it, but you know, it's freewheeling and spinning, but it doesn't seem like there's any play in it at all. No excessive play or anything. So my guess is it's the primary clutch, if anything. There's more moving parts, it looks like, on this one to me. But then again, I could be wrong. Could easily be the secondary. Of course, it could be both of them. And it might not be either one of them either. That's the other possibility. There's no way to really know for sure. I guess I'll go look up some videos on these clutches and see if they can. I mean, I know they take them completely apart on the bench. I've seen them do that, but short of doing that, I'm wondering if there's a way to tell if it's bad. Well, that's my dilemma I'm in, so I'll figure that out and let you know.
And so I'll let you know that I haven't done any more than what you saw there in the video right now. I did watch some videos on it again. Actually, I watched the same video I had watched before, put out by Polaris, and it shows them having to take it and put it on the bench to really test it and check it. And so I guess that's what I'm going to do this afternoon. It's not real hard to do, but it's not the easiest thing to get those clutches off. There's that one central bolt, but then they're kind of like pressed onto the shaft, and they don't come off real easy. But I know how to get them off. I've done it before, so I'll get it done, and then I'll get them up on the workbench and then really inspect them, because I know it is still slipping. It's not real bad. It typically goes pretty much anywhere I want to go. But if you were to stop at the base of a steep hill, and I'm talking a pretty steep one, and you try to go up, it might not want to go. If you're just going through there and you don't stop, well, it probably wouldn't be a problem. But anyway, I know it's slipping, so we'll see. Let's go to the comments and see what all's going on today. Bill Webb is there. He says, good afternoon, Jerry and friends. Joe Cool USA. Hope your day's going well. Well, so far, not too bad. Ronald Todd says, good afternoon from the West Banks of New Jersey. And Ronald Todd says, beautiful day, up to 31 degrees. Well, just as we started this, we were at 39. Let me check now. We are still at 39. And so that's way better than where we have been, with those double-digit negative numbers, like 16 below. That's ridiculous. And even the single digits above zero are pretty cold here. I mean, it's just crazy cold. To me, anytime we're in the mid-20s or below, I'm burning a cord of wood every 3 days, if not more than that. And I don't need those kinds of temperatures. Yeah, I'm about out of wood. I'm going to have to go out here and might have to do that this afternoon. I'll take the Bobcat and the splitter and then bust up some of those great big logs out there, those big, I don't know what you call those things, just big pieces of firewood. They're about 4 foot in diameter, and they're about, almost 2 feet long. And there's a lot of wood there. Just 2 of them is a big load. I mean, actually, just 2 of those on my trailer is heavier than you would think. It's pretty darn heavy. So, yeah, white oak's a heavy wood anyway. Let's see. Rick's Pickens says, greetings from rather damp England. Blimey, you lot get here early. I clicked to read the whole title. Okay. Let's see. I can't read more than darn, so I don't know what I was reading there exactly. Moving on down, I'm mainly just looking for the question marks. And Dottie says afternoon to everybody, and she's praying for everybody. Thank you, Dottie. And let's see. Looking for the question marks primarily. She says it's raining in South Carolina, 53 today. I talked to my buddy Bruce down in Mississippi, Oxford, Mississippi, and it seems like he's got it back under control now. He's just doing some basic cleanup now and stuff, but his power's back on, and all that kind of thing, and it's just still kind of a mess, I think. But overall, I think his life's back to relative normalcy, which is a good thing, because he was out for 4 or 5 days there. They were really struggling. And Dottie says, hit the like button. It does help me, so please do that. I appreciate it. Gino Hitch says, hi, Jerry and friends, 25 degrees here today. Hope everyone is staying warm with, let's see, my new furnace is getting a good workout. Yeah. Wayne Blitz says, good afternoon. And hoping everybody's keeping it, or staying well and keeping safe. And B.H. Ringer from Nova Scotia is there. And then Dottie says, well, she's talking to Ronald there, so let's see. Moving on down, there's Kim from Arizona. Paul Akers says hi. Bruce Ducker says hello from Central Florida. And Don Nice, 29 degrees. Wow, spring is here. Yeah, I kind of feel that way after these temperatures we had here for so long. It was about 10 days worth of just crazy temperatures. Maybe a little more than that even. Joe Williams says, howdy from a bit warmer Florida. Bill Mumble, hi you folks. Bill Rhodes, good afternoon. Let's see. Joe Everett had a number of things there that never showed up. And then Wavy Gravy says, a mechanic friend of mine has plenty of clutches and transmissions, but he just can't catch a brake. Yeah, there you go. Let's see. Michael Boyle, I don't watch Itchy Boots anymore. I like her too much, and watch her put herself in danger is too stressful. Yeah. Well, I kind of get where you're coming from there, but overall, she seems to do pretty darn well. And where she's at now, I don't think China is being all that dangerous. She doesn't seem like she's in any kind of danger or anything, other than the food. I would die if I had to be there with all that stuff. It would just kill. I'd just die. There's nothing there that I could eat, I don't think. And what they do have, they got so many spices in it and stuff. And that's what she was saying, even about the pig's feet, that it's so spicy. Well, I can't eat that either. I mean, I could eat the pig's feet probably if I had to, if I was starving. But I'm not starving, number one. And number two, they got so much spices on it, there's not a chance. There's no way I could eat it. Let's see. Ronald Todd says, Jerry, looks like new rubber may be in the future for the rear of the Ranger. Yeah, I've already ordered those tires. They're already coming here. I actually have them on order. They're on their way. I don't worry about it until they start losing a lot of air. The amount of tread doesn't bother me one way or the other that much, to be honest with you. But the fact that they're starting to lose air now, that's what bothers me. So, and they'll be here before long. I won't immediately put them on. I'll get every bit of the tires I can get out of these first. There's no point in it. I mean, all you're going to do is wear out brand new tires, and you're not going to get there any faster or any quicker, or with the new tires than you will with the old ones. I'm still aggravated just beyond words. I can't even describe it. I wish there was some way to take some kind of lawsuit action against all these tire companies, because we are getting ripped off as a public. I know most of you just don't either care or think I'm wrong, or maybe that you just don't see it the same way. But I'm telling you right now, we're getting ripped off big time on tires, and it's been going on for a long time. They've gotten away with it for probably 35, 40 years. And what it is that they've gone to this rating system instead of the actual number of plies. Tires used to say 6-ply tread, 3-ply, 4-ply sidewall. That's not the way they do it now. It's 6-ply rating. We think our tires are 6 plies, so therefore we're calling it a 6-ply rating. But when you look into the tire, it's like 2 or 3 plies, and that's it. But we make them. Ours are 6-ply rated. Oh, kiss my grits. I mean, just kiss it, because the tires are so lightweight, they don't last anymore, and they get holes in them so easy. And if it gets, and trust me, people say, well, you can't fix a sidewall. Well, you used to be able to. When they had some plies, you could fix them. They don't have any plies anymore. You can't fix them anymore. The patches won't stick in a sidewall anymore. Trust me, I know, because I fixed 1 million of them in my younger days. You could fix them, and there was no problem with it. You run them for another 100,000 miles, and they wouldn't be a problem. But now you can't run them 10 miles. It's such a ripoff. It's sad. It really is. And in my opinion, it's dangerous. It's especially on the bigger trailers and things. It's such a ripoff. Yeah, ours are a 10-ply rating, even though they only got like 5 or 6 plies, maybe 8 plies on a 10-ply rating. And I doubt they have 8 plies, to be honest with you. I've checked. Trust me, I've been checking these things. And the old tires, I had some real old tires out there, some really old ones. And those were, just like I said, they were 10-ply tread and like 6-ply sidewall. And those were heavy-duty trailer tires. You buy them now, and it's like the difference in, a flip-flop shoe and a Red Wing boot. It's that kind of difference. It's just pitiful. It's just pitiful. I am so aggravated with that. I just wish there was some way that we could make that happen. At least make them be honest about it. I don't care if they want to sell that cheap crap. That's fine. But they need to be honest about it. It's horrible. Richard Herbranson says, how long should I try my True Oil Finish cure before I put the bridge and strings on? Well, I think that depends a whole lot on a whole lot of things. The temperature, the humidity, and all that kind of thing. But True Oil dries pretty quick. I would say 2 or 3 days, you'll probably be okay, unless you're in a super humid environment or something. But I would say maybe 3 days max, you should be probably fine, because it dries pretty quick. Jarvis Wilkins says, hey, Jerry from Dahlonega, Georgia? I'm not sure I pronounced that right, but that's close, I guess. Wavy Gravy, it would be great if you and your band would learn Homer and Jethro's I'm looking over my dead dog Rover who done gone ran over by a steamroller. I think you guys could really sell it. I'm going to pass on that one, but thanks. I appreciate it. Nice. Sometimes when you get one like that, so you don't know if that's a compliment. Those are like those double-edged kind of compliments, those ones that it's a compliment and it's also a stab in the back. Don Nice says, Jerry, is that your red shirt that is everything is a hammer? Yeah, I thought I'd wear a red shirt for you today. I hope you like it. This is actually a Demolition Ranch or Demolition Ranch, I think it is. That's where I got this. I got it when he was giving away a big truck or something. I thought, what the heck? I need T-shirts anyway, so why not? And I didn't win his truck, unfortunately. But I hope you like my red shirt. Ben Boyd, afternoon, Jerry. What brand boots would you recommend for general outdoor work and hunting? Well, there's lots of really good ones out there, don't get me wrong, but even since I was a kid, I've always thought Red Wing boots were very, very good, and I still think they're very, very good. That's what I wear. I mean, they're pretty expensive now compared to, well, they were probably always pretty expensive by comparison, but but I think they're really good. But then again, I know there's plenty of other brands that are really good also. But I just like the style of them, the shape of them, the way they fit. They're always real comfortable. You don't have to really break them in much. I don't know. I like them. Mary M. Airy E.M. I had a major blowout on I-75 in Ohio traveling to Kentucky. The whole side wall blew out. I totally agree on this, on the tires. Yeah, and I'm not making it up, guys. I mean, you see them. You see these tires. You see pieces of tires laying everywhere. They're junk. I mean, they're absolutely junk. And I don't think I'd even mind that as much if they were just truthful and they said these are just 2-ply tread and 1-ply sidewall, and they just tell you what it really is. Since they went to that dang rating system, I mean, it's just like you or me going, I like that. I'm going to give that a 10. Yeah, that's a 10-ply right there. I like that a lot. I think that one looks good. I'm going to call it a 10. It has nothing to do with the actual material that's in it. 10-ply rating means nothing. If you look in the fine print, most of the tires still do tell you how many plies are on the tread and how many plies are on the sidewall, but they never advertise that. And when you go to the tire store, the tire people will argue with you. Yeah, these are 10-ply. And I go, it says right here, they're 4-ply, or 6-ply or whatever, and they'll just argue with you. It's like, okay, fine, thanks. See ya. It's pitiful. It's really such a ripoff. I don't even think it's as bad as the insurance ripoff in the country, but it's really bad. I don't know. It's pitiful. Let's see. Wavy Gravy says, my point was that you guys need a comedy number, and Homer and Jethro could fill the bill for you with that one, sung to the tune of I'm Looking Over a Four-Leaf Clover. I think I've probably heard it. I feel fairly sure I have. I was never a huge Homer and Jethro fan or anything, but I've heard their music over the years, But no, I think I'm going to pass. Ben Boyd, thanks. I've got an old pair of Red Wings. Do you have your old boots resold or just buy new ones? I typically just buy new ones. I have had like my cowboy boots resold. They were pretty high-end cowboy boots, and I've had them resold at least 2 or 3 times. And that's kind of a lost art too. It's kind of like the tire thing. They just don't. Those people are, at least around here, anywhere close, reasonable to drive to, they just don't exist anymore. The closest one I had found back when I had my cowboy boots resold, and it may have changed now, but that was the closest. And that was up in Columbia, Missouri, which is close to a 2-hour drive each way. So it's not hardly practical anymore to have them resold, at least around here. But I think you could have the Red Wing boots resold. I think you could. I think they're of the high enough quality that you can do that. But like I said, I'm not trying to sway anybody that you have to buy Red Wing boots. I'm just saying that I think they're very good. There are lots of other good companies out there. I just don't bother with them because I don't feel like I need to. The Red Wing ones suit me just fine, and I'm happy with them. And they last really well. They really do last very well, especially as hard as I treat them. I don't think there's too many people any harder on a boot than I am. Well, guys, I guess that's it. I'm glad you got to hear me rant. I just hate the tire thing. I really do. I was scrolling through there trying to get somebody to be honest on talking about these 4-wheeler tires. I was doing that yesterday or day before. I can't remember when now. But anyway, I'm trying to get some honest specs on it. And all of them just say 6PR, which just says 6-ply rating. When you get them, 3 plies on the tread and, 1 ply on the sidewall, and it's pitiful, just plain pitiful. Y'all take care. We will see you tomorrow with something else.